I just decluttered my whole makeup collection, which you'll see next week, but I'm so sick of looking at my regular makeup, so I'm gonna go in the testing drawer. I also have some new stuff that CoverGirl sent me. So I'm pretty certain that these CoverGirl lip products that they sent me are gonna like really mess with my lips. So I'm gonna put the Mystery Glaze from In Beauty Project on my lips to just kind of like prep them. Honestly, what is PR for if not to try things that you wouldn't have tried? I'm trying wearing like overalls is like with no top underneath. And I just think that my titties are too big for this. I mean, like, also it's not wide enough to, like, cover them, but, like, that's, like, sad. Maybe we'll just use one of my concealers that I'm testing for just foundation. We'll use the Face Glaze from In Beauty Project as a primer. I think the declutter really took it out of me. It is my most intense declutter I've ever done. I think I get rid of the most makeup I've ever gotten rid of in this declutter. One of my categories that I've done, I more than 50% got rid of what I had. Some categories, like there's no movement, and I think you'd be able to guess them. I bought so many shoes recently. I just don't have summer shoes. I used to be somebody who would wear like whatever shoe that I just thought aesthetically was cool, but now my feet are like fighting me back a little bit on that. And I'm like, okay, heard. Oh, I bought Crocs. Platform Crocs. That's interesting. I really like them. I haven't worn them out yet because, of course, I bought a bunch of new shoes and then I haven't like left my house. But I bought 2 pairs of Croc platform sandals, which I'm excited about. And then I also walk on the treadmill when I work, and my shoes all of a sudden started pinching my feet, and I actually got blood blisters on my toes. So I had to buy new shoes, and I got those today, and they seem like they're gonna be good. I think I'm so used to not having arch support that having arch support is a little uncomfortable for me right now. And maybe I just have flat feet too. Like that could also be it. But like it's so crazy having arch support, and my feet like actually like tingle a little bit. Let's play with this CoverGirl Simply Ageless Triple Action Concealer. I have the shade Ivory. I don't think I've actually shown this on camera. I've worn it on camera, but I don't think I've like applied it. The applicator is just a ceramic like stick. So like it's just ceramic. And I think the idea is that it's supposed to be cooling. It doesn't pick up a lot of product. And I feel like to get that cooling effect, you kind of like rub. I don't know. It's a weird little gimmicky thing. The flip side of that though is that I've really liked it. It's been a great concealer. In fact, it reminds me the most of the concealers that I have in my collection of my Surratt Dewdrop concealer, which is my favorite concealer. But it's nice and matte. And I feel like it has a little bit of a self-setting property. Like, look at it. Look at it. It's so pretty. It has, like, the matte finish of the Surratt Dewdrop concealer, too, which is great. Like, I think I like a matte concealer more than I like a luminous concealer, because I think that matte concealers, just because they have that little bit of self-setting quality to them most of the time, it works out better for my oily skin. But if you want to cover your whole face, it becomes a little bit of a chore because of how little product gets picked up on that ceramic thing. And like, yeah, the cooling aspect of it is nice, especially since it is like really hot where I live right now. But I also have a thing I got from In Beauty Project to use with my eye gel that does the same thing. And if you think about it, most of us are putting makeup on at the beginning of our day, not so much like later on in the day. I don't know how necessary that is. Probably just did a bunch of stuff if you have puffy eyes before this step. The Simply Ageless line, in my opinion, is like really nice for what it's going for, and it is like their most expensive line, I think. All of it has like skincare benefits, and it's just, I don't need that in my concealer. So here's the half with, the half without. I would say it's probably more of a medium coverage concealer. And this is it spread out all over my face. I would say like it's wearing like a light coverage foundation, but I don't use a lot of concealer under my eye. Although now that I'm like, wow, that cooling sensation is very nice today. So we're like almost done with Pride Month. I feel like I was crying in the club. Like, and not that I was like crying a lot, but like I've been so emo this Pride Month. That doesn't really feel like me. This time last year, I was yelling at Tiff for being depressed during Pride Month because they weren't listening to Padam Padam. Also, the fact that Padam Padam is a year old already is like a little bit crazy. Same thing with Rush. Speaking of Rush and poppers, it was really funny that some of you had to look up what poppers are. Not that I expect you to know what poppers are, but also sorry that you felt compelled to look up what poppers are. I don't know how legitimate it was was. But on Boy Smells TikTok, they posted like a meeting where everyone was trying poppers for the first time. Well, not for the first time. Some of them weren't for the first time, but they were all trying poppers together. That was very funny. I did enjoy that. Some of them were really jarred by that experience. You know, you think that over the weekend I would have like recovered from the way I was feeling on Friday. This is my first time filming like face videos since that video. No, just living in a world of perpetual bummer. I will say my hair is starting to really hair, and I know some of you have noticed, and I appreciate that you notice and you think it's cute. But soon enough, all of it, like the cowlick back here is really annoying as I'm growing it out. Here's the concealer. Keep in mind that I do have that glowy base on. I don't think it's this glowy on its own. I also just did my skincare, so there's like a lot of stuff that's glowy on my face right now. Don't think I have a bronzer. So I'm going to contour with Ritual Defee Contour, or the Inner Glow Cream Pigment from Ritual Defee. Buying shoes for working out is like one of the things that I like the least. I'm not a tennies person. Like, I'm not a tennis shoes person. And I think regionally people call it different, but like sneakers, I'm not into it fashion-wise. And it's not that I think they're ugly and I like when other people wear tennis shoes, but for me, for some reason. And I'm wondering if it has something to do with like growing up and like that being the only thing that anyone would ever buy for me, even though I would probably want like different shoes than the shoes that I was getting. I love to buy an impractical shoe. I'll just say that. Like all the shoes I really like to look at, very impractical. So when I have to buy a sneaker, it is quite the ordeal for me. Like, I don't like to buy a sneaker. So I did some research. When I say I did some research, I went on Zappos and I organized them. I went look for walking shoes and then I organized them by customer rating. And Hoka's were the #1 answer. But they were like a little, I think another thing is, it's hard for me to buy an expensive tennis shoe because I feel like I ruin them so quickly. And from walking in the house with them, because like I walk for like 2.5 hours a day whenever I am like walking on my treadmill. And like that's a lot more walking than most people do. And then it's like, I just feel like I burn through the shoes. Also, like I'm sure the treadmill isn't great for shoes either. So instead of buying Hoka's, I bought ones that were only $80, which is still expensive. Do you remember, if you're my age, do you remember when like shoes were just $40? Unless you were buying like designer shoes. I remember shoes just being $40, and maybe it was just because I was a kid. And like I just really, I remember shoes just being $40, and now shoes are so expensive. Well, I don't know. That's a market I don't really know a lot about. I wonder what shoemaking ethics are. Like, do they have the same issues that the clothing industry has with as far as like how they're made? So maybe I was just buying bad shoes. I just saw this in my drawer, my testing drawer. I forgot I had it. It's the Cheek Dewy Blush from bellabeautebar. They're releasing some stuff next month that I'm excited about. I get NPR, it'll be exciting to test it out. If I don't get NPR, I won't buy it because I'm on an eyeshadow no buy. But it's okay if I don't get it also. But like it's looking like a cute little collection. It's like kind of like a melted ice cream collection. And there's a matte eyeshadow palette, which honestly is I'm kind of like living for the matte eyeshadow palette. There are some really pretty, and guess what I was excited about? There were some really pretty brights in it. One Holt Mess Tom, looked at that collection. Maybe a stippling brush would be nice for this formula because it is super pigmented. Oh yeah, that was nice. That was a good call. And then they're releasing this like metallic palette, and the image just got released today for that. And that looks really pretty too. But yeah, and I'm probably not gonna wear hot pink today, but I'm in a little bit of a hot pink. I'm very attracted to hot pink again right now, which is so unlike me. I think the stippling brush was the way to go. It has been too pigmented in the past. I feel like I still am doing that. I don't know. It's gonna get worse the longer my hair gets. Also, I was working out the other day and I noticed that my hair was moving a little bit. There was movement in the hair and that made me feel really good. I loved it. Was just like a little bit. I felt a little bit of bounce. It's been a while since I had that bounce. I'm gonna put on Lame from Surratt. I really like these. I keep reaching for them. Whenever I get to the highlighter step, they are top of mind. I do think I've used Lame more than I've used the other shade, Frou Frou. I do like them both. I think Frou Frou is like a little more special. And then also enjoying these and kind of, I don't know. Not that I feel like I'm doing like more creative makeup, but I have been interested in like more color. I've been interested in a little more of the colorful razzle dazzle recently. So I might pick up that Ritual Defy Creature of Light. I might pick up two. Honesty moment. My friend Andromeda freaking loves them and keeps messaging me about them and keeps telling me how great they pair with things. And I'm like, okay, maybe I want to try it again. Maybe I want to try it. But I also want the more natural one to kind of compare to Glow Lust more directly, because it's like, it feels a little apples or oranges when you're like, here's this shiny blue thing and then here's this shiny neutral thing. It just like doesn't feel like the same. And I also haven't, it's June 25th and I've bought no makeup this month, which is fine. That's fine. I'm not trying to normalize buying makeup. I mean, as a makeup channel, it's a little strange when I make it through a month. As a channel like who likes to do reviews, it's a little strange when I make it through a whole month without having purchased any makeup. I bought a lot of stuff at the very end of May for review, which I think is why I feel like I have, like, why I was like, I've already spent a lot of money in June, and that's simply not true. The complexion looks really good. Like, get into the skin. That's great. That CoverGirl concealer is really pretty. That little highlight. Honestly, I want to see you be slay. For eyeshadow today, I'm not really sure. Thought maybe we could put on one of the purple eyeshadows I bought for, ooh, cool neutrals. I feel like I'm on the verge of wanting to do, because I just declared my whole makeup collection, of wanting to go through a reckoning. And when I think about this palette, I'm like, will it survive the reckoning? Because I do really like it. In fact, it's one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes I've tried in a while. But also, I have this from bellabeautebar, the Smoky Glam palette. And I feel like my favorite part about this is the cool tone side. And I feel like I have that in here. Maybe. I guess there's not as much of like a lilac like there is in here, but I did a pretty good job decluttering my eyeshadow palette. I don't really want to like now bring in a bunch of new eyeshadow palettes, if you understand like where I'm coming from, but we'll see. I can also keep them and then decide to declutter them. I do want to use the Cool Neutrals palette today because I feel like I haven't shown it some love in a while, so I would like to do that today. When the Smoky Glam palette came, I really kind of like pushed all of the other eyeshadow palettes aside and I was like, hello. Whenever I see attractive people in real life, or if someone tells me that someone's checking me out, or like says that there's an attractive person nearby but not to be obvious, I'm the most obvious. I'm like, I'm gonna turn my whole, like, let's say you're like to the side of me and you're the hot person, and someone was like, oh, Tom, don't look, but there's a hot person. I'd be like, I'm that friend, and you love me for it. You know, that's part of my charm as your friend. I'm feeling a little bit lazy with the makeup today, which is, I mean, I'm allowed to feel lazy about my makeup anytime I want to feel lazy about it. Whenever I was done decluttering, specifically my single eyeshadows, I have never been so covered in glitter in my whole life. I'm like normally covered in glitter, but this was special. Like, it was really special how much, just like how much glitter I was covered in. Honestly, quite exciting to me because it's just like, I like glitter, and guess what? I had a lot of glitter in my collection. Doesn't mean I keep most of it. I really need to get rid of these rephr brushes. Rephr, if you're watching, this batch wasn't any better for me. These brushes did not add to my experience. I don't get it. I know a lot of people really like their eyeshadow brushes, but I think they blend so poorly. I don't know. I don't like them. I don't like the face brushes. I guess my resolve is I just don't like rephr brushes. Their skincare, however, I'm pretty into. I don't think anyone needs to go running to buy their skincare, but if you want to try it, it's pretty worth trying. It's pretty good. Very basic. Honestly, I feel like what Prequel has done is kind of just stolen the thunder from rephr's skincare, because I feel like Prequel is also kind of like this inexpensive no-frills skincare brand too, and it's even more cost effective than what rephr's doing, but it kind of gives me the same vibe of what Prequel's doing, except Prequel, I think, kind of has the market, because I do think that the cleansers that both brands have are pretty similar. They're not the exact same, but I have used them both and I like them both, but the cleanser, you can't beat how much product you get in that for like $18. I know a lot of people are really excited to see me declutter my single shadows, but I want to just kind of like, let's manage our expectations, because I filmed that segment and it took 2 hours to film. There's maybe 5 minutes of me talking, and it's to like get things started and then kind of check in a couple of times. But what I will say is I found a lot of like mauve-y eyeshadows in my singles collection. And when I was swatching them, I was really liking them. And I just feel like I haven't felt that way about mauve in a while. So that was pretty nice. Not that I kept like a ton of them, but I think I definitely kept more mauve-y eyeshadows than I was expecting. So I actually have a new mascara. I don't know if I want to line my eyes. I think we'll just keep them unlined because I plan on working out after this. So here's something that CoverGirl sent me. They sent me, this is the waterproof one, but they also sent me the non-waterproof one. But Tiff was like, I haven't bought any mascara in a long time. And I said, here you go. I don't know if it's any good, but here's one for you. So this is the waterproof version. And all they did, I think, for Pride was repackage some stuff. So, bummer. They said it was someone's art on the card. I didn't keep it, but like, oh no, they're donating to Clad. They're donating, I think, I don't remember what the card said. I'm so sorry. But they were donating money to Glad. And then the art, and they called this art was by someone. And I did go, not to be rude to the artist who made this, but I was like, but is it art? Is this the queer art Megami wanted us to protect? So this is the CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume Waterproof. And I've been using the Lash Clash, which is a pretty good volumizing mascara. So we'll see how this one is. I don't like when brands do this, where they like package the wand outside of the packaging. I know it's so we can see the brush, but like we could just do away with this. Like we don't need this to be part of our experience. You don't need to spend the money on this, and then we don't need to create the waste of this. It's just like, because what am I supposed to do with that now? Let's see if my brush is fully coated. It's a little rubber brush. I feel like it picked up a ton of product. And I like a volumizing mascara. I like length too, but volume is preferred. Like I think I have pretty good long lashes as it is. Ooh, it kind of smells like a tire that just like burned rubber on the concrete. A little bit like tar too. I don't have an aversion to my mascara like not smelling good, because most of the time I can't really smell it on my lashes unless it like lingers. But I know some people personally who like cannot handle their mascara being stinky. I don't know that that's like queen volume, you know? They sent me another mascara, like their aqua one, I don't know. It was like aquamarine black, but I also think it was like part of their like clean line. And I also thought that was just okay. And something tells me I'm gonna feel the same way about this one. Like I can't see anyone picking this as their favorite mascara. Like it's fine. It's totally fine. As I said, I have some lip products from CoverGirl. I already took these out of the packaging, but it's like one of those like two-step forever wear like liquid lipsticks that have like a glossy top that like makes it last forever. So House Labs has something like this that was like a little bit viral a year or two ago. So I'm nervous. They gave me 3 shades. Tiff took the other shade, and I think that these are actually named, like, I think they have a naming convention that goes through the line. This one's called Brazen Raisin, and one of the lip stains that I got from them was also called Brazen Raisin. I don't think that the colors are very close. I can swatch them. I have the ability to do that. I can swatch them next to each other for you. Sometimes I forget that I have the power to do that. They're not quite the same. I would say that the lip stains also have more of like a watercolor finish than this highly pigmented like liquid lipstick thing. But I actually put on purple makeup because I wanted to wear the other one they sent me. Now, I don't remember the name of this one, but I also remember having a lip color named the same thing, because on the bottom it's just the number. It's just 559, but whatever it said on the box, I definitely had. One of the lip liners was in that color. Okay, I'm gonna wipe this off. I'm gonna wipe what's on my lips off, and then we'll give this a try. It did say on the packaging to apply and then let sit for 60 seconds. So I guess I'll pull up a timer on my phone. And I have noticed just in swatching it, the thick layers they don't really dry. So I must need to apply a really thin layer. So let's get this roast a cooking. Oh, I didn't powder my face. Interesting. So this is before the gloss. It's a bit patchy. I'd say it's a bit patchy. It could be worse. I definitely have had worse purple lipsticks. I like this one because it has a little bit of a glitter in it. I know, shocking. I found it was really hard to get an even application of this, and it might be because of the glitter. It's a really, still feels like a little bit of a, it's not like still wet, but it feels sticky. Like, not that it would, like, things would stick, but like kind of like it feels like my lips are gonna get cemented together. And then I guess what I do is take one of these things, because it is uncomfortable. I will say that. It's not comfortable. And I had this on top. It's kind of impressive. None of the purple came off on the like glossy balm stick. It doesn't look as uneven. I mean, this is certainly not a thing that like, so one of those things, the one thing I like about getting CoverGirl PR is that I get sent some stuff that I never would have tried. And I mean that like, there are other brands that have this kind of product. Like, I just wouldn't, this is not a product that I would buy. This is not a type of product that I would buy. I'm just using the Hourglass setting powder to finish things off. I don't hate it. I don't hate the lipstick. I'm gonna take a sip of soda. Interesting how it could last up against the balm, but not the can of soda. I mean, I guess I just lost some on the can, but that's not much transfer. If it says transfer proof on it, then I guess it's a lie. But if you're into this kind of thing, I can't see this disappointing you. I mean, I still have to try the other color, which I think I'll like more because it's freaking brown. And I guess I'll have to do, do I have to do a wear test? I guess I'll have to do a wear test one morning. Just me and no makeup for work, just like the boldest of lips. I think the balm also made it just feel a little more comfortable because I don't think I would want to wear the liquid lipstick by itself. It was not very comfortable. This was just trying to get my sea legs back after just filming declutters. I appreciate your time. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I just don't think I'm ever gonna be thoroughly impressed with it because it's just fine. I like this concealer quite a bit. I don't know if it's my favorite of the 3 concealers I'm trying, but like, it's really good. If nothing else, it's very, very good. I'm a big fan of these. There are a couple things that I've tried this year that remind me why I'm excited about makeup. This would be one of them, the highlighter from Surratt. The Hourglass powder is also something that gets me really excited, but I know that's specific to me. Not everyone's gonna get so excited about powder. The stippling brush really worked with this. I don't know that this is a color that I'm gonna wear all of the time, so I don't know that it's gonna be like long for my collection, but I like trying it. Like, it's pretty. It's a pretty color. I really like this palette. That was a really easy eye look that I did too. Super simple. And then the lip stuff, I don't hate as much as I thought I was gonna hate it. And the mascara, I don't care for this. It's like, it's totally fine, but it would not be the first thing I would reach for if I was at the drugstore. I do like Lash Princess. I probably would reach for that over this from Essence. And that wraps up the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you happen to be new to my channel, well, thank you for making it to the end of the video. I like to focus on loving my collection first and foremost, and every now and then I like to like try some new things that I got in PR or things that I purchased for review and report back on them. What I really want to do with my channel is help you and help myself build the habit of just being more discerning about the makeup that we're buying, the fragrances that we're buying, and the clothing that we're buying. So if that sounds good to you, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. I'm on Patreon and I have channel memberships. I do some additional content there. Feel free to join that or not. That's up to you. No pressure. Is whatever you want to do. And I'm ready to get on with my day. Like, I needed to just do a short little video because I know I have a lot of editing ahead of me, not only with this video, but also many other videos that I have pre-filmed. So remember to follow your heart and you'll find me. And I'll see you in a video very soon. Did I say that right? I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth. It's out.